Hi, I'm Rob Cosman. Welcome to my shop. We often talk about dovetail ratios without actually explaining it. What I'm going to do is take you through the process of deciding what ratio is best for your dovetails. I'm Rob Cosman and welcome to my shop. We make it our job to help you take your woodworking to the next level. If you're new to our channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and don't forget to turn on the notification on your mobile device so you'll know every time we release a new video. Good? All right, back to the bench. What we're going to talk about is what angle I think your dovetails should be. At least I'm going to give you some food for thought. And when we talk about that, we're talking about the angle of the tail, in this case the dark piece, that slope. Now there's a lot of folklore passed down in woodworking, and it doesn't always serve to help the new woodworker, and sometimes it confuses. So deciding what angle or what slope should those tails be, remembering that the joint is put together so that it resists force in one direction primarily, which is the drawer front trying to be pulled off from the drawer side. We're going to go through, talk about this, explain how and why, and hopefully by the time we're done you'll know what's best for your work. So we'll start off by answering the question, what is a dovetail ratio? And typically we talk in ratios. You hear 1 in 8, 1 in 7, 1 in 6, 1 in 5, maybe even 1 in 4. Typically we don't talk about degrees. And how do we determine that ratio, or how do we mark it? Well, sometimes they would use what's called a sliding T-bevel, but you'd have to be able to find out, well, what angle do we actually want? If we're talking 1 in 6, what we would do is on the edge of a board, we would measure over 1 inch, and then measure down 6 inches. And that angle that is determined by those two dimensions would be rise over run, or 1 in 6. And then you would take your sliding T-bevel and you would lay it on there, lock it in place, and now you could go in and you could lay out the side of each tail. And again, what we're talking about is the markings that we're going to make, in this case, on the piece of walnut. Now I use a dovetail marker which has a 1 in 6 and a 1 in 7 ratio. So a 1 in 7 simply means instead of coming over 1 inch and going down 6, you're going to come over 1 inch, you're going to go down 7, and that angle would be a little bit less. Now if you actually were to translate those into angles, the 1 in 6 ratio is approximately 10 degrees, and the 1 in 7 ratio is approximately 8 degrees. Okay, so why different? Why 1 in 6, 1 in 5, 1 in 7, 1 in 8? Well, on pine or other softwoods, where the wood will more readily compress, to compensate for that, they would increase the splay or increase the angle and go 1 in 6, 1 in 5. Now the danger is that this grain right in here is very short. So the more you undercut it by coming along here, the more fragile you make these corners. So you have to be aware that at some point you're going to risk having these break off when you assemble. With hardwoods, being a much more robust wood, they could get away with a much less angle, so they would work with a 1 in 7, maybe even a 1 in 8. And that further strengthens these corners without causing a weaker joint, because again, in this case you got maple and walnut, both are hardwoods, both aren't going to compress very readily, makes for a strong joint. My argument is this: back then, 100 plus years ago, when the glues were not as good as they are today, you had to rely on the mechanical strength of the joint to hold it together. The glue was there, but you really couldn't rely on that alone. I think our adhesives today are actually stronger than the wood itself. So you can almost, I wouldn't say eliminate, but you can forget about a lot of the mechanical portion of the joint. It's not nearly as important as it once was. I then say, okay, well, let's look at this as the aesthetics. Now, as an example, I built this a long time ago, and I used to be fixed on 1 in 7. This is a 1 in 7 ratio. So is this box. This box goes back, I think I built this in 1986 or 87. And those slopes are not very pronounced. Now this is hard to see because there's not as much contrast. You get a little more here. What I noticed is you started to get 5, 6, 7, 10 feet away, and you could barely notice the slope. Sometimes it started to look like a box joint. On the other hand, because of the extra slope you got with a 1:6 ratio, you could really notice the slope as far as in fact, as far away as you could still see the joint, you could still see and tell that it was a dovetail. I started several years ago doing all of my dovetails in 1:6 for that reason. I just think it looks better, recognizable from a distance as a dovetail. So in wrapping this up, I want to show you a test that I think should put to rest any concerns you have about the strength of the dovetail joint. As I mentioned, glues today are superior to what they were 100 years ago. Worry more about what it looks like. Don't worry about whether or not it's going to be strong enough. So here's a dovetail, a through dovetail, 3 tails, cut in a piece of 5/8 inch northern white pine, not the strongest wood in the world. And I'm going to put it down there on the floor, and that's a slippery floor, and I'm going to stand on it and prove that that joint is stronger than you'll ever need it to be. So don't worry about the angles in your dovetails. Go with what looks best, and my money says the 1:6. If you like my work and enjoy my style of teaching, click on any one of these videos and help take your woodworking to the next level. I've always said, better tools make the job so much easier. If you click on the link below, the chisel and plane icon, it'll take you to our site and introduce you to all the tools that we actually manufacture right here in our shop. It'll also give you information on our online and in-person workshops.